Hello and welcome to the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. We are here with GrapeSEED Greatest Hits number 5, and today's guest is Aaron Jones. I think you've all remembered him from his GrapeSEED Friends episode and all the wonderful emails he sent in that were featured on Mail Carrier number 2. So welcome back to the show, Aaron.
Thanks so much for having me back. I'm so excited for today's episode.
This is gonna be great. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about normal people, but one of my favorite pastimes when I'm going out with coworkers for dinner or something like that is just talking about GrapeSEED.
Okay.
Talking about classroom management, but then also talking about the materials and the materials that we like so much. So being able to do this with you, it's going to be so much fun.
I think normal people is an interesting definition of the listeners who listen to the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. I assume that what you're talking about is considered normal, but maybe if you're just out with random people who never taught GrapeSEED before, then talking about GrapeSEED and classroom management may not be as normal. But in our context, it's great.
Yeah. Okay. Normal for the people listening.
So like always, the guest chooses 2, I choose 1, and you chose here Unit 11's There's a Hole. So why'd you choose this one, Aaron?
All right. So yeah, if you did listen to my other episode, that this is my favorite song. I love this song. It's whenever I'm teaching Unit 11 and I see this show up in the lesson plan, I always get super excited to teach that lesson that day. I just love teaching this song. It's really simple. The language is really simple. It's just, if you haven't taught it, then it just repeats itself and it just gets longer and longer and longer. So it starts off with, there's a hole on the bottom of the ocean, and then there's a log in the hole on the bottom of the ocean, and then there's a shell on the log in the hole on the bottom of the ocean. So it just gets longer and longer, and then the music, the melody, also starts to get faster because it has to keep up with all of this. So it starts out kind of slow, but then gets faster and faster and faster. And then by the end, it's kind of like a tongue twister where you have to say all these words in a fast pace, but you still have to do it correctly.
Absolutely. But what gets longer is that we're adding prepositional phrases onto more prepositional phrases, right?
Yeah.
So this is all language. If we're going even back to Unit 1, like we talk about prepositions all the time with Mouse in the Barn, that's our students' initial introduction into prepositional phrases. And then over the units, we keep coming back to it, keep getting more review, like when we talked about with Marina in GrapeSEED Greatest Hits number 4, we talked about Unit 6's Jam Jam and talking about what you like on your bread or on your pizza. And that just comes back around again here in Unit 11, but we're increasing the difficulty each time we do it, right? So it's not just anymore on the table, on the chair like Unit 1. We're here in Unit 11 and we're just adding multiple prepositional phrases to the same sentence to give our students more of an idea of, okay, if you're going to describe where something is in a more complicated way, this is how you do it. And this material really helps set our students up to be able to do that really well.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say something like that too, that they start learning from, pretty much from Unit 1, prepositions, very simple prepositions, in and on. And then all of the units, they get more and more exposure. Like Unit 6, Jam Jam, it gets it even more. But what's really cool about this one, there's a hole, it kind of takes it to a whole nother level of mastery. They have to be really, really confident about it, that since it is going to be going fast, they need to be really on point between in and on.
Exactly.
So it's going to help their mastery of building these sentences. And it's also going to really help their pronunciation. Because if they can say it really fast, then when they're speaking at a normal speed, they're probably going to be really good at that.
Yeah, that element that you talked about there about the speed, that's the other curveball we throw into not just the increased length of complexity, but also that increased speed will really help us see, okay, if students are able to make their own sentences, for example, with multiple prepositional phrases at pretty quick tempo, we know they really have this concept down. It's a good way for us to tell just how far they've come from that Unit 1 on the chair, on the table, mouse in the barn stuff. I think if I remember right, in your GrapeSEED Friends, you had a pretty unique story about how your kids use the language. So I know most people probably have listened to that episode, but I'd like to go back to that story if you'd like to tell it again here.
Yeah. So this was, I think, towards the middle of the unit, or in the middle exposures, maybe lesson 12, lesson 13, something like that. So they've been singing the song for a little bit. And the question that I need to ask in the lesson plan said to put a pencil on a table and then ask the students, where is the pencil? And that way they get to practice the language. There is a pencil on the table.
Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. It was a good day, but now I will say goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.